Hello guys, welcome back to my channel HVR Tutorials. In this video, we will look into conditions and pseudo classes in CSS Selectors. So in my earlier videos, I have used attributes or the relations to find out the elements, right? So if you closely observe one thing, I have used only one attribute value. Okay, if the element is having multiple attribute values, I have picked the unique attribute value and I have found the element in the web page, right? So what if my element is having multiple attribute values and if you see individually, they are not unique, but when you combine them, they might be a unique one. Okay. So in those scenarios, how you are going to combine those attributes and find the element in the web page. So to do that, we have to use some conditions, right? So basically what we will do, we will try to provide some attributes or some relations or something, and we will make that as a unique one. Okay. But even after applying all those things, just imagine your element is not getting unique. So in that case, you can fetch the element based on the index. Okay. You have applied everything in the pattern, right? Like conditions and attributes and everything. So after that, it is returning you some elements. So out of those elements, you can retrieve one element based on the index. Okay. So those things that based on the index or position, if you want to identify the element, you can use the pseudo classes. So in this video, we will see how we use these conditions and these pseudo classes in CSS selectors. So without wasting any time, let's jump into the next slide. So here I have listed the conditions and pseudo classes that are available in CSS selectors. So here if you see, I have listed only few pseudo classes basically because we are going to use only these pseudo classes while writing the patterns. Okay. So if you are a developer, web developer, then you might be using many pseudo classes. But as a tester, from the automation point of view, you will use only these many pseudo classes. Okay. So that is the reason I have listed only few here, the useful pseudo classes here. Okay. So coming to the conditions, we have three conditions: and, or, not. So these three conditions can be used to find the elements by combining or by eliminating the conditions. So the first one is and. So here, for example, you are trying to find out one element using multiple conditions. Okay. Let's say I want to identify one element based on the class name and the type attribute and value attribute. Okay. So if these three conditions are matching, then only I want to identify that element. In that case, I can go for and condition. Okay. So the same way the or condition, but it is just reverse. Okay. So in the first condition, all the conditions should be returning true, right? But in the second one, in the or condition, any of the condition should be written true. So if you, for example, you have used three conditions. So out of these three conditions, any one condition is written true, then it will retrieve the element. Okay. And the third one is not condition. So you are trying to find out some elements, and from those elements, you want to exclude few elements based on some condition. Okay. So in that case, you can use not condition. So what this not condition will do is, you will find some elements, then from the elements, you will exclude some elements. Okay. So for exclusion, you can use this not condition basically. So the next one is pseudo classes. So here I have listed 6 pseudo classes. Okay. First child, last child, nth child, first of type, last of type, nth of type. So all these pseudo classes are used for finding the element based on the index only. But there is a slight difference. Okay. So let me show you the difference. So here just let me open the sketch thing. So here if you see, I have a sample HTML page. Okay. I have one div, and inside the div I have p and input and buttons. Okay. For example, I have this div only. Okay. So my cursor is still this div, and I want to identify the first child of this div. So how I can do? I need to pass the index, right? So without passing the index, if you want to get the first one or last one, we have the methods. I mean, we have the pseudo classes basically, the first child and last child pseudo classes. So you don't need to pass the index one or the last one. Okay. So you can use the first child or last child pseudo class to get the first child of this div and the last child of this div. That is this one. The first child means this one. Okay. So if I start giving the numbering, if you see, this is the 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, right? So here, for example, if I want to get the fifth element, okay, and here if you see, the first child is always easy because the first child means it is always a first one index, but getting the last child is a little difficult because you don't know how many elements are present actually inside this div, okay. So you need to find out how many elements are there, and based on that count you need to identify the last one. So to make it easy, CSS Selector is providing us one pseudo class, that is last child. So apart from first and last, you want to get the middle one, anything like second one or third one or fourth one. So in that case, you need to pass the index, right? So if you want to pass the index, you can pass this one, this index, and find the element. So for that one, we have this nth-child method, this nth-child pseudo class. Okay. So using that nth-child pseudo class, you can get the specific index element. So here, if you observe one thing, I'm talking about the indexes only. I mean the child, the first one or last one or the middle one, anything. Okay. But I'm not talking about any tag name, right? So here I'm not talking like, okay, I want the first p child or I want the first input child. Like that I'm not talking, right? I'm simply saying I want first child. Irrespective of any tag name, you are asking the child, right? So in that case, we are going to use these first three methods: first child, last child, nth child. So here we are not going to provide any tag name and we will try to identify the element. Okay. So in the next set of three pseudo classes, we are going to provide the tag name also. Okay. So let me show you. So here earlier, if I say first child, it will retrieve the this one p element, right? The hello one. Okay. So but what I want is I want to retrieve the first input tag. Okay. The first input element out of this div. So in that case, I can provide the tag name as input and I will use first of type method. Okay. So in this div, if you use this tag name, it will retrieve this one and this one and this one. There are three elements, right? So out of these three elements, it will try to find the first one. You got my point? Earlier, we are not finding anything. We are not putting any condition. Okay. So in this div, whatever the elements are present, out of those elements, we are trying to find the first one. But now we are trying to find the element based on the tag name. So inside this div, first I'm saying I want the input, the third input or first input. So I'm saying the tag name as input. So what it will do, from this div, it will try to find out all the inputs. So from that search result, it will do the first one. You got my point? So the same way you have other two elements also, last of type. So from those inputs, you want to get the last input. So you can use last of type. And you can use nth of type if you want to get the middle one, like second one or third one or fourth one or anything. Okay, the input specifically. So in this case, you can use this first of type or last of type or nth of type. So that is the major difference, guys. Here we are not providing any tag name in the first child or last child or nth child, but here we are providing the tag name. Based on the tag name, we are trying to find out the child. So now let me go back to the application and show you how this actually looks like and how we write the selector. Okay. So here I have an application, that is HYR tutorials. I'll simply mouse over on Selenium practice. I'll click on CSS Selectors practice. So this page I'm going to use for practice today. So here I have some text boxes, some buttons, okay, some paragraphs, everything. Okay. So first let me open the developer tools. So first we will look at the conditions, then we will move to pseudo classes. Okay. So let me just inspect this button. So here if you see this button, this element is having some attributes. Okay. Just imagine this element is not having the value attribute. Just for the time's sake, just imagine like this one and this one. These value attributes are not available for these elements. Okay. So in that case, we are left with only class and type attributes, right? So if you see, the class is not unique. So for this element and for this element, the class name is button only. But when you see the type, this one is unique. But in this entire web page, it might not be a unique one. In this entire web page, you might have some other button, right? So which has type as button, and you may have some other input which has type as submit. So you can say this is also not a unique one. But if you combine this class name and type, then this will be a unique one, right? So here I'm saying we will use this condition and this condition. So combining both the conditions, and then we will try to find the element. Okay. So here we are going to use the AND condition in this case. First class is button, right? So input class button. So now we got two elements, right? So from this I want to identify only one element using this type attribute also. So for using AND condition, you no need to write the keyword as AND. Okay. You simply have to write the next attribute values. Okay. So like this, type equal again button. See, this is the first attribute condition till here, and the second one is this one. So you are providing two conditions. So if these two conditions are returning true, then only it will try to find the element. You got my point? So if this any of this condition is returning false, for example, if I say I here, so the type button I is not available in this page, right? So the first one is true, but still the second one is not true. So that is the reason it is not returning the element. Okay. So this is about AND condition. So I'll just note it down here. So the next one is OR condition. So just imagine one case. For example, you want to get all the buttons present inside one web page. Okay. So how you will do it? So for a button, the tag name might be a input or button, right? So in the input tag name also, the type is button, the type is submit, the type is reset. So there are many things, right? So if you want to identify all the buttons inside page, you have to consider these input tags. I mean, the type button, submit and reset, and also the tag name button, right? So how you will do that? For that, we are going to use OR condition. Okay. So I will say the tag names. Okay. First button is a one tag name. Then input is a tag name. And for that input, type attribute value should be a button. Okay. Or the type attribute value should be a submit. Okay. Like this, you keep on adding the conditions or reset like that. Okay. So for writing OR condition, you don't need to write OR keyword. You have to simply put this comma. Okay. So this one will do the magic for you. Okay. So this is like OR condition syntax. So between this one, so here if you see button, so this one is returning true, right? So it is fetching all the buttons. Then this one is also returning true. Then it will retrieve all the buttons. I mean the input tags whose type is button. Okay. Next, this one is also returning true. Then it will find that also. For example, in case if this page is not having this input type submits, then it will not retrieve those elements. Okay. It will retrieve this still first one and second one. Okay. Whatever is satisfied, that will be returned here. But in the earlier condition, if both the conditions are returning true, then only it will retrieve. But here, everything will be retrieved, like each condition. Okay. The first one, second one, everything is like individual. You are combining them. Okay. So this is about OR condition. So next, for example, here only, I'll take this one only. Okay. So in this one, for example, I'm trying to use class name and find the elements. So it will retrieve me two elements, right? So from those two elements, I want to exclude one element. Okay. I can use the not condition and exclude one element. Instead of writing this AND condition, I can do that also, right? So what I will do, input dot, the class name is button, right? Button. So from this, I want to exclude this type button. I want to identify only the input type as submit. Okay. So then I'll put a colon, not. Inside this, I need to write the condition. Okay. Type. Okay. I need to put a square braces. Type equal button. Okay. So now you see, it is excluding the button and it is giving only the submit one. Okay. It is identifying the unique one. So you can use the not condition like this. You are finding some elements. From that element, you are excluding some elements based on some conditions. So here basically I have only two elements. So from the two elements, I am excluding this type. Okay. So the type is actually only one element is there. That is why it is excluding only one. But in your case, for example, you have 10 buttons and you have 5 elements whose type is button. In that case, those 5 will be removed. Only the 5 buttons whose type equals submit or anything else will be retrieved. Okay. So let me just copy this. So, I mean, you got the concept right here. Basically, you are finding some elements. So when you use this one till here, you are trying to find the input tags whose class name is button. From those elements, you are excluding this type, this condition. Okay, you are excluding some elements based on this condition. Okay, so that is about not condition. Next, we will see pseudo classes. So let me just go to this parent here. So here we have one div. So the div class is container. So in this container, I have some inputs, some select, some br, everything, right? So first let us use the direct one, the child, okay, container. So inside this, I want to find the first child, okay. So for that, you need to put a colon, then you need to write the pseudo class name. So that is first child. So now you see, it is retrieving the first one of one. It is giving me one element only, that means, right? So this is for first child. So the same way, just let me copy this. So the same way, if you want to get the last one, you need to write last child. So inside the div, this is the last one. This is the last child. Okay. I don't know the index of this one, but if I use this last child pseudo class, it is giving me this element. Okay. So see how easy is that. So let me paste it here. For example, I want to get the second child. Okay. So what I will do, I will say nth child of 2. Now you see, this is the first one, this is the second one, right? So this is returning me this one. So if I want this third one, now you see, it is giving me third one, right? So here, if you observe, I have not providing any input tag name. I mean, any tag name here. Okay. So without tag name, I'm trying to find out the elements. So this is about the first set of 3 things. So next we have first of type, last of type, nth of type, right? So based on the tag name, we are going to find the elements. So here, what I will do, I want to identify, okay, here all the input tag names are only there. So I'll just pick the other one. Okay. I have some BR. Okay. BR means line break, right? So in this one, I want to get the first BR. We have 1 BR, 2 BR, and 3 BR. So I'll get the first one. Okay. So in that case, so that BR is also inside this div only, right? So I will say BR, then colon. I want first one. Okay. First of type. Now you see, it is giving me the first BR, the first occurrence of BR. So if you come from here, inside this, now you see, this is the first BR, right? So based on the tag name, I'm identifying the element. Let me just copy this. So the same way, if you say last, it will retrieve last BR. Okay, now you see, it is giving me the last BR. So the similar way, see, here we have 1 BR, here 1 BR, and here 1 BR, right? So out of this 3 BR, it is giving the last one. Okay. So if I just collapse this, after this, we don't have any BR. Okay. So this is for last BR. If you want to find the second one, then just use the nth of type. You need to pass the index. Simple. It will retrieve the second BR. Okay. So the same applies to any element. You have to provide your tag name, then use the pseudo class name. So this is for main child, like without passing any tag name, you are going to find the child. Here you are passing the tag name, then you are finding the child. Okay. So this is about conditions and pseudo classes, guys. So by using these things, you can make the element as unique. Even after applying all the attributes and relations and everything, you are not able to identify a unique element. Then you can provide this one. You can try first these conditions. Okay. So even after applying the conditions, if you are not able to find out a unique one, then you can use the index or positioning. Okay, these things, pseudo classes. So obviously, when you use these pseudo classes, you will definitely get the unique one. Okay. So this is about conditions and pseudo classes, guys. I hope you like this video. If you have any doubts, please let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. Bye bye. I hope you enjoy this session. If you like this video, please hit the like button and also share it with your friends. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.